Anger is the most obvious, glaring expression of our ego. As I have talked earlier, that there are four basic faculties that we are composed of in the subtle body. Basically, senses, mind or manas, including both the manas and chitta, I should say, but mind, intellect, and the soul. And when a person dies, these are the four faculties that leave the body. The ahamkar or ego is basically an expression of pranavayu sharir or the prana to keep the sthul sharir or gross body glued with the sukshma sharir or the subtle body. The air of life of prana requires a mental facet that will ensure the physical integrity of the individual, and that is what the ego provides. It's a rajasic force, and the most common expression, you can say that the negative connotations are lust, anger, and greed, but the most glaring expression of ego is anger. The anger represents a reactionary response to an unfavorable environment. The sa or the soul is purely witnesser, and when it sees an event, it will respond in neutrality. If someone is being unjust, rude, cruel, it will respond that it will make that observation and make a response in the realm of neutrality. Like things like, this is not the right way to conduct behavior. This is not what will be expected of a good man. Whereas the person in the realm of anger will attack the individual because things did not work out the way they expected things to work out. So, anger stems from predetermined expectations of how an individual should respond or how an event should unfold. Now, anger stems from this repeated belief that we are the doer and we are in control. The truth is, even the soul is not the doer, and only Paramatma is in control. So, all the constellation of dilemmas and dubious ideas and designations reside in the ego, manifested as arrogance passively and as anger actively. The shloka in Bhagavad Gita that tells us who does the activity. Annad bhavanti bhutani parjanyad ansambhava yagyad bhavati parjanyo yagya karma sambhava. From sacrifice comes karma or activity. Yagya, dan and tap. Those were the three actions that should not be ever left while we are living in this gross body. But annad bhavanti bhutani, the anna or the food makes the gross body. Bhutani refers to the gross body. So annad annamay sharir. That's why we call it annamay sharir, the outermost kosh or the layer. Parjanyad ansambhava. Rainfall causes formation of food grains, and that's why you'll see in droughts the land is deserted and nothing to eat. If there are no plants, there will be no animals, no matter whether you are vegetarian or non-vegetarian. Plant life is uh, is central to sustenance of life on planet Earth. Any sort of plant life. अन्नात् भवन्ति भूतानि पर्जन्यान् संभव यज्ञात् भवति पर्जन्यो. Yagya or sacrifice leads to rainfall. And अन्नात् भवन्ति भूतानि पर्जन्यात् अनुसंभव यज्ञात् भवति पर्जन्यो यज्ञ कर्म समुद्भव. And yagya or sacrifice itself stems from action. So, in short, sacrifice is needed to create rainfall, and sacrifice itself comes from karma. So, who does this karma? Definitely not the ego. अहंकार गुणात्मा कर्ता मिति मन्यते. प्रकृते क्रियमाणानि गुणः कर्मणि सर्वस्य. The guna or the material modes of nature with whom we come in contact with when residing in this bhutani or the gross body makes us do the activities. But we ascribe the activities to this delusionary rainbow of arrogance or ego. So how do we get rid of this arrogance or ego? Well, there is negative, neutral and positive ways of getting rid. Negative would be fear, neutral, surrender or love, and positive, greed. We can either use aversion, that we should not use anger, otherwise we lose our job, lose our relationships, and you picturize all the worst things that are possible. And that will create a mental imagery and a cautionary signal in the conscious brain to not get angry all the time. The second way is of greed, in which you try to tell yourself that if you don't get angry, you will go make rapid progress in your relationships, you will be loved by everybody, you will be promoted at your job because of your good conduct. Just like good prisoners are let go earlier, So the third way, which is the most beautiful way that we need to work on, is of surrender. See, anger requires this false imagery of self as the doer. If you have surrendered everything, and that is what chanting in Bhakti Yoga is so good at doing. If you have surrendered that I am nothing, I know nothing, I am merely a toy in the hands of Paramatma, I am working my soul in this evolutionary path towards union with the Paramatma. If you are coming with that mindset, every morning you say that to yourself, I am nothing, and I am very grateful for everything that has happened to me, and I will be more humble, and I will be more kind to everybody that is around me, and I will work for the establishment of dharma. When you say these things and picturize yourself doing these things, then over time you get those things, and that's what you become. So it is important to learn to love, and from love will come surrender. It's nothing that the person who is surrendering is weaker or inferior to the subject to which it's being surrendered. It just shows this underlying intent of union. So, if a wife is devoted to her husband, it does not show that she is weaker or feebler. It just means that she enjoys the union and the company of her husband. So, we have this arrogance is what deludes us to believe that the individual who surrenders is weaker. No, these are yin and yang. These are two complementary parts that need to be together. So Atma was given this body to find its way out of the delusionary Maya from the senses mostly into the realm of Paramatma. And a lot of times we will see that individuals are getting entangled into being the doer and thereby harming the soul and the mind. So, my friends, in short, Anger is the most glaring expression of our ego, and it manifests as arrogance passively, and as anger, ego manifests as arrogance passively and as anger actively. To control both the arrogance and the ego, you have to surrender, love a higher being, and that you can do through Dhyan Yoga in Brahma Muhurat. At the same time, you can use aversion, fear, or gratification, greed of any prized possessions to overcome anger. But the first stage is to accept that ego still persists every time you get angry, because in anger you lose the witnesser role. Instead of becoming a witnesser only, you become a witnesser and reactor. You react to the situation, whereas soul only responds to a situation. And when we use fear, greed, and surrender in the mode of bhakti yoga, then we will slowly dissolve this annihilatory rainbow of transient rainbow of ego, and therefore recognize our true self and move in the path of God. Thank you.